thank you for joining us on another edition of the Englewood Call. You are watching the Resident Association of Greater Englewood. My name is Sonia Harper.
And I'm Aisha Butler, one of the co-founders and president of the Resident Association of Greater Englewood. We welcome you tonight. Remember, this is a live call-in interactive show. Our number is at the bottom for you to call us this evening. It's 312-738-1060. So the purpose of this show really is to deliver some of the news and events that are happening in the Englewood community. I think the reason that we wanted to do this is because so many people talk about the fact that it's no way that people know what's happening in the area. So, even though it's very event heavy and very meeting heavy, we just want to make sure that residents in the area or residents outside of the area knows what's happening in the community. So we definitely want you to call in if you have any comments or other things that you want to shout out as well.
And we want to let you know that you can always contact us offline. Our webpage is www.rageenglewood.org, and you can always email us. Our email address is joinrage@gmail.com.
And we're also on social media. We are very, very active on Facebook. It's just Rage and the Resident Association of Greater Englewood, as well as on Twitter. And that's join_rage. And we definitely want you to join us as well. And then we're also on Instagram. So for people who just want to see photos and see some of the things that we post about Englewood and some of the photos that we capture, you can follow us on Instagram at Rage_Englewood. And just a little bit about who Rage is. So for the viewers who have never watched this show, our members are all over the 6 wards that govern the Englewood community.
That's right. There are 6 of them, 15, 16, 20th, 17th, and the 6th ward.
And then also 3,
the 3rd ward as well.
Very a small boundary. People are very shocked that that the 3rd ward actually comes all the way to Englewood.
Well, it's interesting. We wonder why our neighborhood is cut up so interestingly in 6 different wards. So maybe one day that'll change and we can see better collaboration among our leaders in the area. But for right now, this is something that we do really struggle with as we work for positive change and constant and consistent communication in our neighborhood.
Yeah, because if the aldermen are not working together and their boundaries are basically divided by a street, or basically one side is the 16th ward and the other side is the 17th ward, and they're not working collectively, the people in the community suffer in that case. So it's really important, and we really do hope that we constantly stress how important it is to work and really go to bat for the Englewood area.
That's right. And it looks like we already have a caller on the line this evening. Good evening, caller. Thank you. What's your comment or question?
Good evening, ladies. I hope you're doing well.
We are. Thank you.
One of the things I've been commenting about is in terms of tax redemption, where, say when you miss one of your installments on your taxes, it's easy to go from like $400 to $1,600. And if you say when you're a person with a disability, it's sort of hard for you to come up with that money. It may be hard for you to come up with that money within 2 years' time. You got to redeem your taxes back from a bank. I don't mind. It's ridiculous how all these Cook County commissioners that set up there and set it up where these banks can make these large amount of monies is ridiculous. And they are up for election. And I hope people like me, when they go to the poll, to vote those people out. And I don't mind if I miss paying my taxes to have a reasonable penalty for redeeming my tax, not to go from $400 to $1,600. That is triple. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if I had to pay as much as $700 or even close to $800, but not $1,600. I'm not no $1,600. That is ridiculous. And when you look around the Englewood area, a lot of people have lost their home due to taxes.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I know I'm a homeowner and I've seen my taxes increase over time, although the value of my home has decreased, unfortunately. So I definitely think that anything that comes in the mail in terms of exemptions and some of the things that the county sends out, I think residents need to try to take advantage of those. We're going to be talking about this land use plan today, and I think this is going to have an impact on our taxes in the community. So So we do thank you for that call, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Just a little bit, we'll just kind of go quickly about RAGE. Just so you know, our focus areas are education and youth development,
Economic development,
civic engagement, and empowerment, which is probably the heart of what RAGE do.
that's right.
And then some major projects that RAGE is currently working on.
We are currently working on the 63rd and Halsted development with Whole Foods. We are part of a council that's going to be acting as kind of an advisory committee for that project. We are also...
Yeah, and then we have a really nice relationship or a partnership with Urban Prep, the Englewood campus. We're working with the freshman Solidarity Pride class and thinking about ways to repurpose open spaces that are close to the school. It's been a really fun project that our members have been involved in.
And we are also working on the Englewood Votes campaign. And in fact, later on in the show, we'll give you information about the next meeting, which is going to be happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's all about empowering our people with the knowledge that they need to make the right decisions when they go to the polls, and explaining to everyone that it is up to us to vote, to get our voices out by voting, because when we don't vote, we don't have a voice, and we get looked over, and that's what's been happening in our neighborhood.
Very true. I think Joe just touched on that a little bit when he goes to the polls. He was saying that he wants to make sure certain people are not reelected. And I think it's so easy for us to complain, but if we, take the attitude that we're not going to vote, I mean, we really are losing our voice. That's a really good point.
That's right. When you don't speak, others will speak for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And then we're really excited about doing nights out in the park again. We haven't been officially approved, but I'm pretty sure that partnership is going to go through with the Chicago Park District. What we did last year is So Fresh Saturdays. We kind of did a Englewood Park takeover, 4 parks in the area, and we're looking to do 5 parks this year. So you will definitely be hearing more about that, especially if you went on our website and joined our mailing list.
And we're also working on an Englewood School repurposing initiative. If you guys did not already know, the big news from the big school closings that happening in our neighborhood is that now that there is a council that is put together that's going to oversee how these schools are going to get put back to use, right? And so right now there is a process by which an organization or such could actually apply to get ownership of one of these schools. And so we're working on our own project related to that.
And we was working on that before that council even when the mayor even appointed someone, because I think most people didn't want to have the conversation. We kind of knew that CPS was probably going to close some of our schools in the community, and we didn't want to lose these institutions. So it's kind of hard, just like it was with RAGE, for people to be able to think about things like that, because they want to fight the closings, but we want to keep this conversation at the forefront.
That's right.
And it looks like we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes. How are you?
We're good.
How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you so much. In terms of property, I got to say that at this point in time, I'm so glad I own nothing. It is just way too expensive. I feel sorry for anyone who owns anything in this city and in this county. It is ridiculous what the politicians do to make you feel totally unwelcome to investing in this particular area of the country. And just as well, when you talk about voting is good. It's all right. But if we're thinking that we've done our civic duty just by voting alone, we are crazy.
That's right.
These politicians are doing exactly what they want. They have totally disregarded us, and we are now at the point where we have to almost be threatening to them now, because look at this Bruce Rauner. If he gets in as the governor of the state of Illinois, working people will be crying. I guarantee you. This guy does not care. And this guy is going to prove he wants to make us another, the right to work state. And in terms of everything that we do, in terms of taxes and everything, he's only going to look out for a certain segment of people in this country and in this state. So I feel like, just again, voting, we got to do a whole lot more. We got to go out to these offices. We got to demand. It is our turn now as working people. We are tired of you. Start paying more attention to us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
Thank you.
I love calls like that. That's
Yes.
so true.
That's very true.
We can
We
come to the
hold
Englewood Votes meeting.
I know, we hold those sentiments exactly.
Yeah.
You are not just done with your vote, and that's why we do encourage people to do other things after they vote, like
Yeah.
get with Rage, right? As we work in the neighborhood, increasing civic engagement,
That's right.
empowering neighbors, educating people on those issues that affect us most, on those issues that our lawmakers might reign over, but that we could also have some input
Right.
over, right? If we just
Yeah.
understood some things. And so that's why we do the
Yeah.
work that we do to empower our neighbors. Right?
And I know one thing that I've noticed in Englewood doing this work is that people really hold our aldermen on these pedestals. Like and Bishop Dukes was talking about it on his show about them being celebrities. And instead of calling them out at a ward meeting about some issues, they just want to kind of get in good with them and not make them accountable for the things in the community.
Right, like we live in Greater Englewood. It is not a celebrity or beauty contest to be our alderman. Like you really have to be boots to the ground, doing some work, and even more than that, the people in the community have to be holding their lawmakers accountable.
They
as
do,
well, right?
They do, and I agree with that.
We can't just sit back, vote, and then expect for stuff to get done.
Right.
You also have to support your alderman. If you think that was a great alderman and you voted for them, well, then you should be at their office helping them to pursue whatever positive changes needs to happen and needs to take place. We are not done with just our vote. We do have much more to do. So thank you, caller, so much for reiterating that point.
Yep. And so we're going to talk, just to go back to a little bit more about Rage Village meeting, because these are the kind of conversations that we have. We meet every other month on the third Tuesday. We invite all of our viewers to attend. Our next one is at 6855 South Emerald Avenue, and that's at 6:30 on March 18th. So let's get into some news, because we have a lot of stuff that we want to cover tonight.
That's right. We always want to bring you the best positive news from Englewood. You can always find out what the bad stuff is happening, but we want to tell you what are those things that you can do to empower yourself and empower your family. So do you attend your beat meetings in your neighborhood? Well, take a look at the screen. And take a look and see where your beat meeting is meeting.
Yep.
They meet every second or every third or fourth Tuesday, and a lot of them are either meeting at Kennedy King College, at Hamilton Park, and some of them, like my beat, are meeting at the 7th District Community Room.
Yeah, we really hate that our meetings are the same day as these beat meetings, so unfortunately we're not able to come to Hamilton Park when we have our village meetings. But I think it's still important for residents to go out there, and if they have issues on the block or whatever the case may be, go to these beat meetings and report that information and see if it's ways that we can kind of stop these barriers between police and them residents.
That's right.
And then the Englewood Votes meeting. And Sonia,
right.
You could probably talk a little bit about that.
Right. If you want to help to increase voter turnout for our elections, or if you want to help educate all people, not just young people, on why they should vote, if you want to help dispel the myth that returning citizens are not eligible to vote, which is one of the biggest lies that they tell people in my neighborhood, then please come and be a part of Englewood Votes. Our next meeting will be held tomorrow. That's March 7th at 2 p.m. at Growing Home, and that's located at 5814 South Wood Street. So it's for all citizens. If you're interested in becoming a voter registrar and just interested in helping us to get our voting numbers out.
Yeah, it was so interesting. We was at Team Englewood High School, and one of the students said, it's no reason for me to vote at all. I have no say in this. And so Damon Drummer was with us and really talked to him about, it's like a basketball game. If you have to be in the game to have a voice. You're not sitting on the bench and thinking that you're going to be, basically doing a jump shot or whatever his analogy was. But really, young people really feel like they have no say in voting.
And this year is more important for young people because this is the year where 17-year-olds are allowed to vote. Like, we got a new law that changed, and that is definitely in our favor. So yes, please.
Yep. And for folks who think that, things are not happening in Englewood, we have a book signing
We have a
coming
book
up.
signing. Wow. Who's
Yeah.
coming? What author's
So,
coming?
the author is J.M. Benjamin, and he's going to be at the newly open Kusanya Cafe, which is not that new, but, less than
Awesome.
about 6 months.
It is new.
And that's tomorrow evening. I mean, I think most people never think that you could go to a book signing in a cafe in Englewood,
That is
and
great.
so we are really changing the game, I think, and I'm just seeing more positive things happening. And then he's kind of on a tour because the next day he's at West Englewood Library, and he's doing, and I was thinking about trying to go to this, a self-publishing and marketing workshop.
Oh,
So for
yes.
people who want to publish their own books and kind of talking you through, and this is free. So if you're a writer, or if you've thought about writing, if you thought about doing your own memoir, or whatever the case may be, you may want to go to
Yeah.
this workshop.
Because, come to this workshop, please. Anytime somebody is giving out some free information that can possibly help to put some money in your pocket, folks, we need to take advantage of that.
That's right.
So learn how to publish yourself. Learn how to write a book. And
Mm-hmm.
not only that, even if you're not writing a book, learn how to market yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even when you're just looking for a job, you need to know how to market yourself. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity. And the event is free and open to the public Saturday, March
Yep.
8th. At 2 p.m. at the West Englewood Library.
And I think sometimes people forget about our libraries being an asset in the community. You can rent these spaces for no charge. All you do is fill out a form. So if you want to have a community meeting, or if you want to do a
exactly.
workshop or anything like that, you can rent our library spaces. I just wanted to make sure we reiterate that. And then the next, I think...
Yeah, so the Sustainable Englewood Initiatives meeting is going to be taking place Tuesday, March 11th at 11:30 a.m. It's going to be held at the Englewood United Methodist Church at 64th and Stewart. And some of the things they're going to be talking about on that agenda is the Green and Healthy Neighborhoods policy, which we're going to talk about later today, and also a ComEd grant with open lands. And they're also talking about CPS request for proposal for closed schools as well. So please, if you can go get by that meeting.
Yeah, and then the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Englewood Cultural Planet Council. This is an art council that has been doing work in the community for over 10 years, and they have... they meet every second Wednesday of the month, and the next meeting is March 12th at 5 o'clock at Hamilton Park Cultural Center. It's a beautiful space, and I would just say any artists or local artists or art-based organizations definitely need to go and go to that. And I think we have another caller.
I want to make this comment real quick.
Okay.
Black folks, only time we come out and vote, we got to get mad. Just like when we was mad, we voted Hale Washington because we was mad at this white lady by the name of Jane Byrne. And then the first time when our president ran for election, we was mad. We came out and vote. And don't wait until you get mad. There was a time where black folks around the country couldn't vote. And I used to listen to my grandfathers would say that you couldn't go uptown because the white folks was voting. You shouldn't, wait until, when you get mad with her, all right? There was one time, there was other family member told me the only time he was able to vote, he had to vote overseas. Don't wait till somebody tell you can't vote, you get mad.
Right, that's right. I think that's a really good point. Thank you so much for that call, Joe. So what we wanted to do, we didn't realize how long our news was going to take, is talk a little bit about this green and healthy neighborhood land use plan. For people who are watching who are not familiar with this, it has been a land use plan that's been happening for the last few years, and we actually have a timeline. And some of the pillars of that land use plan is housing, retail, productive landscaping,
open space. It also talks about manufacturing, and then it also goes into the green infrastructure and historic preservation. So right there on your screen, those are the main areas that the Green and Healthy Neighborhood Land Use Plan has been presiding over.
Yeah.
And on March 20th, this plan will actually go into commission. And so what that means is it will become law. And we will actually then begin to follow those plans for the next 20, 30, or 40 years or so, right?
This is kind of a little bit, in the beginning slide, we went over CMAP, which is the Chicago Metropolitan Planning Agency, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency of Planning, has a 2040 plan. And believe it or not, this is our 2040 plan.
This is our 2040 plan.
They're looking at the land in our community and thinking about ways that residents or either community organizations can really start doing some things around housing and vacant spaces. And we don't know yet if this is going to be beneficial or not. I know we was a part of the process in terms of our recommendations to this plan, and some of those things were included, but we really don't know what the real outcome is going to be. Hopefully it doesn't impact our taxes. Hopefully that, residents could take advantage and have some ownership over this. But, it has been a whirlwind working with the city through this. And a little bit about how this impacts you and why we thought it was important that we even talk about this is, as residents, it's going to be things happening on your block, around your area, that you may not know is going on. So people are going to be purchasing land. You're going to see some stormwater things installed, and they're going to have an Englewood line.
In fact, you probably are already noticing some changes and things going on because they are in our neighborhood. And in fact, this plan is actually, what it's doing is it's actually changing the zoning laws, and it's allowing, it's actually making it easier for certain types of developments to come, right?
Yeah, and what they did was identify certain areas within the Green and Healthy Neighborhood Plan. So it's not just Englewood. It's Englewood. It's West Englewood. It's a little bit of New City. It's Washington Park. It's Woodline. So all these kind of like that whole corridor from 55th on back in terms of what's going to happen with our land. And so we have the plan on our website. You can go and download it. We just sent out a message today that has a link to it, so you can see the draft of that plan. But we're going to show just some of the things that we've been looking at with this plan. This is the actual area. And this is the Englewood line that we're referring to, which is now going to become urban agricultural hub.
So there, that little rectangle, the long rectangle that you see, it's called the Englewood line, and it is literally located between 58th and 59th Streets, roughly from about Hoyne to Wallace. Right. And according to the Green and Healthy Neighborhoods Land Use Plan, that Englewood line is going to become known as something called the New Era Trail.
Right.
And this trail is going to be a walking, biking nature trail that will also run right alongside urban farms and urban gardens, and even some hopefully food-related businesses along that area. The history of the Green and Healthy Neighborhoods Land Use Plan is that the plan for the Urban Ag District was originally taken from what you see now, the Englewood Quality of Life Plan, which was done with residents and community leaders back in 2005.
Right.
Back in 2005, residents and community leaders sat down with several organizations who paid for this study and said that they wanted an urban ag district and that they wanted the general area around where that urban ag district, 59th Street.
Where it's a little more industrial.
Where it used to be a little bit more industrial, and where the city had identified 22 acres of vacant land. And so residents thought, hey, why don't we take that vacant land and use it for our benefit? Since we live in a food desert, we can use it to produce our own high quality, fresh produce, and even maybe spark the building of our own local food system. And so that's where that idea came from. It came from Englewood residents, and so it got sucked up into the Green and Healthy Neighborhoods Land Use Plan.
And now it's about to be approved.
And now it's about to be approved. So when it's
20th.
approved, it becomes law. And I think that what residents need to be figuring out is how they're going to make sure that they're a part of this new vision for Englewood. Right?
Yeah, and the reason we're showing these slides specifically is because this is about productive landscaping, which means that you can actually produce and sell food. So if you're a farmer or if you're already doing some farming and you know this world already, these are opportunities for you to work with the city, get a business plan together, and make sure that you let them know that this is something that you want to do. So I would definitely say this is something to think about, especially while these areas are designated for that. So I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Oh, we lost the caller.
And what we really want to talk about for residents, and we'll wrap up with this, is the large lot program.
That's right.
This is where actual homeowners who live on a lot, live on a block, can purchase various lots that are not next door. This is not the Ann Lamp program. So
Right.
everybody keeps getting that confused,
Right.
that this is the lot next door. No, this is the lot across the street. This is the lot on the corner.
And Asia, please tell me, how did the city get this idea for the large lot program?
So really, residents like ourselves and Rage talked about this because we have vacant lots on our block that are not next door.
Right.
We kept trying and they kept saying you can't get it because you don't live next door, but no one's doing anything with it.
Exactly.
And so now they're going to make a way that residents can actually purchase these properties for $1. These are not our slides. These are slides of the city so that people know Rage did not make this up.
This is from the city of Chicago.
This is from the city
and
of
this
Chicago
is true for Englewood residents.
And the application process will be taking place in the probably towards the end of March.
That's right.
It's going to be a quick turnaround, and we do have the contact information for the city so that you can contact them if you're interested in this. And it will give you greater control. You don't have to do a garden. You can do something about that you can do anything you want on this lot.
Exactly, because think about it. What it does is it could help to beautify our neighborhood, which is one of the biggest things that we need. So please, if apply yourself if you are able or if you qualify, or tell someone.
Yes.
If you can.
And you have to be a homeowner.
You have to be a homeowner. You have to be able to have a plan to maintain it, and you have to be able to pay for the taxes on these vacant lots as well. But think about how this new law or action could have a positive effect on your own block, the youth, the seniors.
Yep.
Even the pets, right? Everyone can give back to their community just by starting on their own block. And this is just one of those ways that you or your neighbors can start on your own block by taking control of one of those vacant spaces and cleaning it up and turning it into whatever you want to turn it into, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what we're going to do, we're going to have the city at our village meeting on March 18th, and they're going to walk people through the application process. You have to not owe the city any tickets or water or anything like that to be eligible, but they're going to really dive deep into how this works and getting some residents involved, because it's going to be a quick turnaround. Once they get the application up, they're going to close it up. So
you have to act fast on this one. As all good things, you must act fast.
Yeah, and I want you to get the contact information for the person at the city. I talked to her today. She said it was fine for people to inquire about this. It's Jeannie Chandler, and her number is there on the screen, which is 312-744-0605. And we are saying this because if other individuals are looking at the land in Englewood, homeowners may also want to look at the land in Englewood and purchase some of the land on their block. I think they're going to limit it to 2 lots per block for a homeowner, but it's really something to think about.
Also, I wanted to put another bug in your ear. I don't know where this stands now, but there is initiative going on by the Cook County Land Bank that had said that its plans were to buy up all of the vacant land from the city of Chicago and then do what they want with it to bring it back to productive use.
Yeah.
So this might be one of our last chances to actually maybe gain ownership of some of that vacant space in our own community before it does totally get out of our hands, and then it is harder for us just regular old residents to get a piece of the action.
So we just want to make sure that you go do a Google search, check for the city website for city-owned vacant lots, attend our meeting, and then, just volunteer at a local park. Do something, whatever you want to do. And then, of course, you could always look at other neighborhood news on every block or the Englewood portal.
You can always catch our Englewood positive news on both of those websites.
Yep, and then you can always visit us at www.rageenglewood.org, and that's it. I think that's it for our show tonight. We do thank you for joining us, and again, we'll be back here next Thursday at 7:30, and we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Anything else you want to say to sign out?
Have a good night. Thank you.
What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe?